Hello guys, welcome back. Today I'm bringing you a build order for Age of Empires 4, and this one is for the Holy Roman Empire. And we're actually going to be looking at doing a man-at-arms rush. Now this one involves a double barracks production of man-at-arms, and we're also going to look at adding rams and having a really good push with the man-at-arms and rams and just trying to close the game down in the feudal age. Because the good thing about the man-at-arms, especially with the Holy Roman Empire, is that they are quite resistant to archers. They deal with spearmen pretty easily, and they also deal with horsemen pretty easily as well. So they're quite a tough unit to try and break down in the feudal age. And in this build we are going to be utilising the unique unit for the Holy Roman Empire, and that is the prelate. So the prelate in Age of Empires 4 is essentially a monk for the Holy Roman Empire, and it's really good because it does give you a nice little buff to the gather rate of your villagers, but I think it's 40%, which is huge. So if you can get your prelate in a good position, it should really help boost your economy quite a lot. So anyway, without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so as I mentioned, the first thing we need to do is queue up the prelate in the town centre. As you can see, that's on its way there. I'm using a recorded game to do this and spectating it just to show what we're doing. But we send 5 villagers onto the sheep, and then one of them is just going to go away, make a house, and go to gold. You didn't have to make the house straight away. You could have waited for the next villager or so, but figured I'd do it now. Now the prelate's going to be there buffing those sheep villagers. So essentially, you're probably going to have the same sort of food coming in as sort of 7 villagers on food, which is going to be really strong. It just frees you up a little bit to make extra villagers here and there. So once we've got the one who's made the house and then the gold mine, we're going to send another 3 over to gold. I'm going to put the speed up on double time for a little bit. All this time, just keep going around scouting your map, try and find your sheep. You're certainly going to be needing the sheep, especially with that increased gather rate. They will eventually be depleted quite quickly. So now we've got the 4 on the gold, we're going to send 1 more onto the sheep just to give us 6 on sheep. And following on from that, we're just going to send 6 to wood. Now I'm going to send the first 2 to wood, and then we should be in a position where we can make the Minework Palace, or the Minework Palace, which is the Holy Roman Empire landmark of choice in this particular Age of Empires 4 build order. And it essentially acts like a blacksmith, which is pretty good. So as you can see, we've sent 2. We're just going to use 2 villagers from gold. There we go, and make the Minework Palace, and then still sending more villagers over to wood there. Now, it's really important actually, this is something I could do with mentioning, the position of your prelate and where you're dropping your sheep off. So, ideally, you want your sheep to be in line with the wood, so that you can basically just put your prelate in the middle of the sheep and the wood villagers, and your prelate can kind of buff everybody all in one go there. And not only will it give your food boost, or food villagers a nice little boost, but also give your wood villagers a nice little boost as well. So now we've got the 6 on wood. The next 2 villagers that are going to come out are going to go and make barracks. We're going to have 2 barracks. So there's the first one. I'm going to send 1 more out in a minute. Do remember to get a house at this point as well. We probably just use a wood villager for that. But you're going to need a house. Like so. Then this next villager comes out. Just going to get the second barracks down. There we go. I'm too busy with the sheep there. But yeah, not really dropped them off in the in the best position. There we go. I do move them around there. But as you can see, we've now hit the feudal age. All of the builders, so those who were building the... Let me just slow this down a little bit. All of the builders who were building the barracks, they've gone to food, and so were those 2 from the Minework Palace. They've gone on to food as well. So from this point onwards, it's pretty much just a case of keep adding villagers onto food until you get to about a total of 18 on food, I would say. So I think that's around 8 villagers extra once you've made those 2 villagers for the barracks there. And as you can see, we're quite nicely producing the man-at-arms there, and we're still making some villagers, so we're able to maintain constant production of the man-at-arms as well as constant production of the villagers. Again, do remember to make houses. Essentially what you will also want to do at some point is to research siege engineering, which costs 93 gold and 37 wood. This will enable your infantry to make siege weapons in the field. So essentially, once you've got a nice little mass of those together, send them forward and you can start making some rams. Now the rams actually cost 300 wood, so you've probably got enough villagers on there to get some rams down by the time you're at the point that you actually want to start making them. But it's probably going to be worth adding a few more onto the wood once we've got these 18 on food that we're after. Just so that you can just make sure that you do have enough wood to make multiple rams, because you are going to need more than just the one ram. You're going to want quite a few to be able to start bringing down the enemy. But with that in mind, let's have a little look how this build order is working for us. Okay, so just a few minutes later, you can see we've got a really nice massive men-at-arms there. We've got 16. Probably can get the iron undermesh upgrade as well. It just makes them a little bit more resistant to archer fire, which will help with surviving from the TC. And as you can see, we do have a ram there. I'm not sure, I think that was a bit of a misclick or something. But we're going to start taking down those production buildings. We've got enough wood in the bank as well to be able to start making another ram, which I think we probably will do very shortly. I think I've finished this off with about 5 or 6 rams. I mean, it is only against the intermediate AI, so you know, it's not overly challenging at this point. But I should say, have done this quite a few games in the ranked queue, or not the ranked queue, the quick match queue in Age of Empires 4, and it does seem to be working fairly well, unless you're up against the Franks, because the Franks will just obliterate your man-at-arms with their knights. So that's probably the main civ to avoid. It tends to work quite well against the English. As I say, they are a little bit more resistant to arrow fire than every other feudal age unit in the game, other than the knights, of course. Just because they're an armoured unit, the arrows don't work so great against the against armour. And there we go, next ram coming up. And again, as you can see, we've also got enough wood there for another ram. And we've only had the 6. I never added any more on. But you may want to do so just so you can get some farms down. But that's it for this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Do like the video if you appreciate this build order. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Age of Empires 2 content and further build orders. Thank you very much. Cheers.